Hey guys, what's up? This is Dingo Crikey here with another commentary video. This time I'm going to be doing it on a general Transformers discussion topic. If you guys are interested in commentary on the Transformers 4 Age of Extinction toy line, then please check out my playlist and channel where I also have a number of Transformers stop motion videos, some of which are previewed here. But in this video I'm going to be discussing whether Transformers is better off after the release of the films, or another way to put it would be, have the films had a positive or negative effect on Transformers as a franchise. So, let's get started. So, I don't think it's much to debate that Transformers' position in media has pretty much changed very dramatically since the release of the now 4 films. I mean, marketing of Transformers is way bigger than it's ever been. Optimus Prime and Bumblebee seem to almost be common household names. You'll come across way more people who simply know about Transformers these days, and in the film industry, I don't think there's much to question that the TF films have definitely affected it altogether. So basically, the films have had a huge impact on media altogether, and also on the universe of Transformers and just the way it's portrayed and the way most people think of it. So, has the effect of the movies been positive, or has it been negative on Transformers in general? So first, I'll just take a look at the franchise commercially, not on an emotional level or on the level as a fan, just totally on a commercial level and how it's affected Transformers as far as sales and that kind of thing. In that aspect alone, the movies have definitely had a very positive effect on Transformers. I don't think it's any surprise that Transformers sales are way, way bigger than they've ever been in the past since the first movies came out. The Age of Extinction figures supposedly have lower sales than the figures for the other movies, but they're probably way bigger than, for instance, the toys released under the Armada line, which up to the movies I believe were the best-selling Transformer figures. Outside of that, there's just a ton of merchandising for Transformers now. The movies bring in a huge amount of money. I don't even remember how many Revenge of the Fallen bring in, but you could probably look it up and find out real easily. Just massive amount of profit came out of the movie. And as a franchise, you do have way, way more Transformer fans now altogether. And a lot of older fans with a re-emerged interest in the franchise who might have skipped out on the Unicron trilogy or got sick of it after Beast Machines, something like that, have got back into it after the release of the films. And more fans obviously attributes to better DVD sales, more knowledge about Transformers, people buying the toys more often, and all of that kind of stuff. So on that level, it's definitely affected Transformers in a positive way. I can't really think of any way it wouldn't on that kind of level. Now, looking at it on a more emotional level, that's a little bit harder to say. I've probably been a Transformers fan since around 2002. I got into it early in the Transformers Armada TV series and was buying the toys way back then. Obviously, once I got around to seeing the movie coming out and all the hype about it, I was pretty skeptical. Franchise going that big and mainstream, there's always a lot of skepticism there. And I'd probably stay pretty skeptical even after the release of the movie and the toy line. I'm sure there's a lot of people who think like this, and I'm definitely sort of one of those people who has a hard time liking something when it's super, super mainstream. It just happens as a fan when you've been into this back before it was a huge thing. Transformers was popular before, but like I said, nothing compared to the movie. And I've bought the toys, watched the shows, did all of that, and now you just see all these people coming out of the woodwork who probably thought Transformers was silly or dumb before, just falling in love with it. It can be kind of annoying. Don't get the wrong impression. I'm definitely not talking about newer Transformer fans. We were all new fans at one time, and the cool people actually go out, buy the figures, watch the shows, and do stuff like Transformers. Just the people you run into who are oh, I'm such a Transformers fan, I love Bumblebee. And I just want to ask them, well, can you tell me about Rat Trap and Dinobot? They'd probably think of the Dinobots in the movie, if they even knew that's who they were. But, that, or people just think it's about, cool cars and special effects and that kind of stuff and don't get any of the depth to it. I mean, the general impression of Transformers has definitely changed now. I mean, just go on to Google Image and look up Transformers. You don't see pictures from Generation 1 or Beast Wars or Robots in Disguise, or heck, even Cybertron. I mean, pretty much what you'll see is all movie stuff. That is now the impression people have of Transformers, especially this new generation of these extremely detailed robots with all these moving parts and the way their eyes are done and just all that. That's now the impression of Transformers. It's no longer what it used to be. Yes, that stuff still exists, but the overall impression isn't that anymore. I mean, when I tell people I like Transformers, now I make it a point to say, I like the cartoons and I like the toys, but I don't like the movies. Because, like I said, the movies give this image of just, crazy robots, big explosions, one-dimensional characters, nasty stuff, fast cars, all that crap. Just not the image of Transformers. I grew up with Armada. That's Transformers to me. And now going back and watching Beast Wars, it's this stuff has substance. I mean, even Robots in Disguise, which, if any of you guys have watched that, it's a show with, zero substance. The story's horrible, it's very episodic, but it has more substance than the Transformers films do. I mean, other than that, you just see a lot of elements of the movie now bleeding into other aspects of Transformers. I mean, the Generations line has managed to keep itself pretty much as traditional Transformers, but I mean, now we get a lot more of just Optimus and Bumblebee movie plots being recycled in Transformers shows, like the Allspark and Animated, some of the stuff in Prime too. There are just certain things that feels like Transformers media does now because the movie did, and it feels like it has to put in there if it wants to be commercially successful. And, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about some of those things before, like Optimus and Bumblebee being in every piece of Transformers media. I'm just not that big of a fan of it. Not that I don't like that stuff, and not that I dislike the movie figures, or even the designs for the characters in the movies, but for me personally, I don't like that being all there is to Transformers. And luckily, we still do have stuff like the Generations line and the comic books and the cartoons, but the movies have bled into it a little bit more than I would like. But I mean, in an overall retrospective on the movie's effect on Transformers, despite some of my initial emotional opinions, I've got to say it probably is positive. Yes, we have Michael Bay associated with Transformers. Yes, we have all these people thinking they're Transformers fans when they've never even touched a figure in their life. But a lot of good has come out of it, and overall, the traditional idea of Transformers is still pretty well preserved. I mean, like I said, we still do have the Generations line and the cartoons and that kind of stuff. And I mean, for all the new fans that have come in, I mean, it's really cool to have a lot of new Transformers fans in the community. I mean, I know a lot of awesome people got into Transformers with the movie and, now buy the figures, do stop motions, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's definitely had a lot of positive effects on it. We have gotten a lot of cool figures out of the line. So, I mean, there are a fair amount of negative effects, but, if you don't like the Transformers film, and even if you don't like the movie line, there still is other aspects of Transformers out there for you. And I mean, the popularity of the movie, I think in some ways it has helped other Transformers media as well. I mean, now there's more invested interest in Transformers altogether. They can make more high-budget Transformer TV shows. I mean, if you were to take the sum of Transformers TV shows before the movies came out, it's not to say they were all actually that good. I mean, I usually love what Japan does. I mean, I'm a big anime fan, all that kind of stuff, but outside of Armada, in my opinion, their shows really weren't that great. I mean, they just weren't that good of TV shows. Whereas now we have a show like Prime, which, in my opinion, is one of the best Transformers series, and one of the best kids' cartoons I've ever watched. Transformers Animated was, I mean, it was okay. It was really experimental, but at least it was trying to do some different stuff and, didn't exactly succeed at it. But, I mean, it only lasted 2 years at the most. So, I mean, with shows like Prime, though, you have, way better voice acting than you had like in the Unicron trilogy. The effects are great, the visuals look really cool, they're able to get a long length of the series. They're just able to do a lot of cool things, and you know, some of that might have to do with the success of the Transformer films. But I mean, backtracking a little bit, what has it done to the image of Transformers? I can honestly say I really don't like the image of Transformers as much after the movies, but it's something I can live with. I mean, as much as I love Transformers, love collecting the toys, really like some of the shows, it's not something that I take as seriously as something like Full Metal Alchemist, if any of you guys know that anime. Like, if I knew America was going to get the rights to the franchise and start making a series out of it, or a live action show airing on HBO or something like that, I would really, really be freaking out about it, because it's something like I've watched the show, I've read the manga, and I really like take it seriously. It's like a serious story. So it would really affect me, sort of like what they're doing with Death Note. I mean, that scares the crap out of me thinking of what they're going to do with it if they're really going to make this movie in 2015 out of it. Same with like Star Wars. I mean, Disney's probably going to screw up that thing, and that really bothers me. But Transformers is a little bit more like Godzilla. You know, they're just like taking the franchise and making like separate universes out of it. I mean, if they were going to take Beast Wars and try to add on to that, well, I guess they already did with Beast Machines, and, you know, if you like Beast Wars and count Beast Machines as part of the Beast Wars story, that could really, really make you upset because it's affecting the story. But the movies, they don't really affect any of the Transformers stories I'm interested in. I mean, they're just screwing themselves up pretty much. Like, basically, what Energon did to Armada by screwing up the characters, just making a mess out of the plot, you know, adding the ugly CG to it, I mean, that bothers me way more than what the movies do to Transformers, because it's taking a part of it that I care about and just totally screwing it up. The movies don't really affect anything else in a story sense. I mean, yes, in a commercial sense they do, but I can look past that to a certain extent. Maybe some of you guys don't feel that loosely about it, and it really, really affects you by what they're doing to it in the movies, but that's my take on it. It's fine if you guys feel like that. I could see that opinion too. So, in summary, I would say the movies have had a positive effect on Transformers, though it pains me a little bit. I mean, we've still gotten good shows. I gotta look into the comic book series more, but I know a lot of people say the comics are still great. The movies and the other toy lines have given us a lot of great figures. Mind you, a little bit more generic, but that's just happening today. I mean, pretty much in that sense, everything's just getting worse. It's just what's gonna happen. But, I mean, there's a lot more fans of the franchise, and there's still lots of cool stuff going on. Yeah, there's a lot of annoying, you know, mainstream popularity that comes along with it, but, hey, I mean, I'll take it as long as we still get the cool stuff. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the matter. If you guys have differing opinions, you could leave that in the comments section. Maybe you hate the way Transformers has been since the movies, or maybe you absolutely hated Transformers before, and you think everything after the movies is just great, or something like that. Anyways, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll take a look at it. Also, feel free to drop off any topic suggestions. I mean, it could be a general Transformers discussion topic, sort of like this is. It could pertain to one of the previous cartoons, or primarily like news on the new figures, in particular the Transformers 4 line. I'd be really interested if any of you guys had that, and I might do a video on it too. And that about wraps it up. As always, stay tuned for new commentary videos. You can check out my previous ones if you're interested in general Transformers discussion topics or TF4 news. And as well, check out my Transformers stop motion videos. And that's it for this one, guys. Have a good one.